I'm Bill Watson. I'm an associate professor in learning design and technology in the College of Education at Purdue University. And I'm also director of the Purdue Center for Serious Games and Learning in Virtual Environments. The metaverse first was mentioned in a sci-fi novel in I think it was the late 90s, maybe early 90s. But it's been used for a little while to talk about this concept of a virtual space where people were able to interact with each other and other things using an avatar. So it's been applied before to concepts like Second Life. But I think where it's being moved now is with the increased availability, really for the first time, the popular adoption of virtual reality, augmented reality devices. Those are now actually making their hands into the hands of consumers everywhere. Then now they're looking at it more of a blending. Instead of just being a virtual space where people are interacting, the idea is that you can have this meta world where there's interaction between both the virtual and the physical. People say the metaverse is coming because that's what they're talking about. That sort of really level of immersion and connection is really not here yet. We're getting closer and closer to it. But the potential benefits for that, particularly around remote learning, where maybe students don't have access to the good education locally, or again, there's safety issues or things like that, or just being able to leverage the power of this technology to be able to be immersed in those environments and face and become familiar with the sort of problems that you otherwise might not see. That's a really strong level of power. And we saw a glimpse of people doing the best they could with Zoom and these other technologies, but you don't really feel immersed there. It's not really the same sort of connection that we can get with virtual reality. So I would say today more than ever, really, we're seeing that sort of digital instruction taking place in schools, but they're still really lagging far behind really the rest of society. Schools are operating in a system, whether we're talking, universities or whether they're talking K-12, they're operating in a system that's largely been unchanged for, a really long time. So right now, games are largely being used as add-ons. They're not central components of instruction often. It's we might play, a game 1 week out of the entire school year, or maybe if you finish your homework or your project early, you're able to do learning through a particular game. But they really haven't had to become a core piece because the system's really not set up to support that sort of environment. It's difficult to really fully realize the benefits that games can offer, which is that sort of complex thinking, problem solving, situating learning within really meaningful contexts, collaborating with others. These are things games do really well. And until the educational system shifts to really value that and evaluate schools in terms of how well they do that, they're likely to remain a little bit more on the side than perhaps they should.